Hello my people, welcome to another tutorial. My name is Agnes. In today's tutorial, I will show you how I made this shirt. It's quite easy to make and you can make it in any size. It is made of back panel, two front panels, and then the sleeves, and that's it, and a collar. So I'll be telling you how you can make it in different sizes, and it is made using the V stitch. I also used a lightweight yarn, so it's good for summer. You can style it the way you like, and this is how I was styling it. I'll be making long pants for it, so it will be a set. So if you like that, please check next week for the tutorial. For now, let's get right into it. So for the materials, for me, I'll be using a tape measure. You will also need that. You need scissors. For the hook size, I will be using a 3.0 millimeter hook. Use a hook recommended by your yarn size. For the yarn, I'm using this yarn Mika. It's from Volleydoo. It's 51% acrylic and 49% wool, cotton wool. And I used 5 of these. It recommends a 2 to 3 millimeter hook. I'll be using a 3 millimeter hook, so I went in the middle. Use whatever yarn recommends. You can use any other yarn. We are using measurements, so that doesn't matter. Okay, so let's start. We are starting with the back panel, and we are going to be using a V-stitch. So we are going to make a foundation chain. Usually a V-stitch, you need a multiple of 3, but I'm going to show you how to do this, like to chain and get your measurements without actually counting your stitches. Okay, so make a very long chain, and this should be equivalent to, for me, I'm making a size extra small, so I want my first row to be 19 inches. So make a very long chain, and for me, this is what I have, and this is more than 19 inches because I want to show you an easier way on how to do this without counting your stitches. Okay, so this is about 24 inches because I realized that when you do 19 inches of chain, then it gets smaller and you have to undo it and redo it again until you can find the right, So I made about all this longer than you want it to be, because I want 19 inches of row 1. Okay, so now we are going to start on row 1. So you are going to skip the first 3 chains, and into the 4th chain we are going to make a double crochet. We are going to be using the V-stitch. So yarn over, skip 3 chains, and into the 4th chain make a double crochet. And to do a V-stitch, you're going to chain 1. So this is our first double crochet, chain 1, and into that very same stitch, you are going to make another double crochet. So that is one complete V, okay? So you are going to skip the next 2 chains. So a V-stitch is like double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Then skip the next 2 chains, and into the 3rd chain you'll make your second V. So that means you'll make a double crochet. Then you're going to chain 1, and in that very same stitch you will make another double crochet. So that is our second V. And then we'll skip 2 stitches or 2 chains, and into the 3rd chain you'll make another V. So that is a double crochet, chain 1, and in that very same stitch make another double crochet. So that is how you make a V stitch, and we are just going to do this, and I'm going to do this until I have 19 inches. So in a different case, you make a foundation chain that is a multiple of 3, and then you chain until you get to the end. But I don't like stress. I like to do things that are easier. So I do this until I have my 19 inches that I want to make. If you want to make 20 or 30 or whatever, 24, I'll give you measurements for different sizes right at the end of this. Okay, so here are the measurements for the other sizes. Okay, so I'm an extra small, so I'll be making 19 inches. If you're a different size, these are the inches that you'll make. Okay, so I want my 19 inches and I have a few stitches, half an inch left, so I need 3 stitches. Okay, at the end of this row we are going to be making a double crochet to finish the row. So we'll finish the row with a double crochet. So you skip 2 stitches and into the 3rd stitch you will make 1 double crochet and that will be it. Okay, so at the end of the row it's a double crochet, just 1 double crochet, not the V. Okay, so now I have my 19 inches. What do I do with the rest of the chain? So with the rest of the chain, once you have your measurements, okay, with the rest of the chain we just, you know, cut it off. So I have my 19, I know that is right, and I'll just, you know, cut off the rest of the chain, and this saves you a lot of time for and you know, doing and redoing and doing and redoing, just trying to find the right thing. So I will cut off like 3 stitches to the left, cut it off like this, and then pull the yarn like this, and it just locks like that. Okay, and problem solved. Easy. Yeah, this is easier than, you know, doing the chain and then you find you don't have the right inches and then you have to undo. Maybe you counted so badly, so you have to restart again. You know, it saves you all this trouble, but that is me. So for row 2, this is how we are going to start row 2. All right, so we are going to start every row by chaining 3. Okay, like we ended every row with a double crochet, we start every row by chaining 3. So you chain 3 and then I turn my work and I'm going to make a V-stitch on top of the previous V-stitch. Okay, so I'll go into this chain 1 space, make a double crochet. Okay, and then I chain 1 into that same space. I'll make my 2nd double crochet, so that's a complete V. And then I go to the next V, that is in the chain space 1. I make a double crochet, chain 1, make a double crochet, and the next one same thing. So make a V on top of a previous V, and it is as easy as that. Okay, so continue doing that. That is a V on top of a V, and I will see you at the end of this row so that I can show you how to close it off. You already know how to close it off, but I just want to show you one more time. Okay, so I'll see you at the end. All right, so I'm coming to the end. That was my last V. So like I said, we end every row with a double crochet. So what you'll do is yarn over and go on top of the previous chain 3, leave alone this double crochet. On top of the chain 3, you will make a double crochet. So that's how you end the row, and that is how you'll end every row. Okay, on top of the chain 3, you make a double crochet like that. Okay, so this will keep it straight on both ends. And now how do we start the row? You start a row with a chain 3. So you chain 3 and then you go straight into this chain 1 space, which is on top of the previous V, and make another V. That's a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Go into the next V and make a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Next is chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So you are going to make a V on top of a V until you get to the end of the row, and our pattern is going to be a repeat of row 2. So you're just going to repeat row 2 all through until you get to the height of the shirt that you want, or the length of the shirt that you want. All right, so I want mine to be 19 inches. So you can just measure from the top of the very top of your shoulder and then all the way down to how long you want your shirt to be. Always make sure you end with a double crochet on top of the chain 2, just to make our sides straight and uniform. All right, your stitches should be the same number every row. So this is me, and this is 19 inches from the bottom to the top. So this is the length of my shirt. If you can see in my picture, so if you want it longer, of course you'll add more inches, or depending on your liking. All right, so now we want to do the front panels. So for the front panels, we are going to count all our V's, okay, and then divide them by 2, because we want 2 front panels. Okay, each side the same number of V's, right? And then we'll take away 1 V from whatever number we've counted. So let's say if you have 30 and you divide by 2, you have 15 for each side, and you take away 1 V, so you'll only have 14 V's. Okay, so that's what we will make. So I'll count mine and then take away only 1 on each side. So in total, I'm taking away 2 V's. Does that make sense? I don't know. I think it does. So we are going to be using the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to make a very long chain that is not very long, but a chain that is more than what I want my inches to be, right? So this is long enough for me, and I want to make the first V, so I skip the first 3 stitches, and to do the 3rd stitch I make a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. That is my first V, and then skip 2, make my second V, that's double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then skip 2, chain 1, double crochet, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. There is no chain 1 in between the V's. Don't do that, okay? So I'm going to make this until I have the number of V's that I want, and this 15 V's, okay? For me it's 15 V's because I had 32 V's all around. I divided that by 2, it was 16, so each side I take away 1 V, so I remain with 15 V's. And then I'm going to close it off by skipping 2 stitches and then making a double crochet in the 3rd stitch, like we did with the back panel. Same pattern with the front panel, just it's smaller. So cut off the rest and pull and tighten. So that's it, easy, right? So we are going to repeat the pattern like we did with the back panel, where we start off with a chain 3, then we turn our work, and then we work a V on top of the previous V, and then go into your next chain space, make 1 double crochet, then chain 1, your other double crochet. Okay, so I hope you understand my explanation. Like I said, I had 32 V's, then in the end I have 15 on each side, so I lost 2 in total. So I end this off with my last V, and then of course a double crochet on top of the chain 3 to complete the row. So chain 3, turn your work, and we are going to repeat this. So it's same pattern. So you're going to make a V on top of the previous V, and you are going to repeat this. And when you have 3 rows to the total number of the rows that you have on the back panel, then you stop there. Okay, 3 rows to the top. Okay, count the number of rows you have in your back panel. Once you have 3 rows to the top, then stop there. So this is what I have, and I have 3 rows to go, right? So I want to make a little bit of a curve here so that we are able to put the collar. Our collar is able to look a bit nicer. So we will be making reduction. So I'm going to show you how to make reduction for only 3 rows. Okay, so I will chain 3, and then we're going to turn our work, and this is how we'll make the reduction. Okay, so in this first V we would normally put 2 stitches, but instead I am going to just go in with a double crochet that is incomplete. So go in like this and then pull through 2 and then leave it at that. Then go into the next V and put in my first double crochet like this, pull through 2, and then I'll pull through all the loops, which are 3 loops like this. Okay, so I'll chain 1 to make my complete V and make a double crochet. So that's my first V. So this other stitch will not count in the next row. Okay, so this is how we make the reduction there. So we are going to continue with the pattern like before. We'll make a V in every previous V and I will meet you at the end of the row. So I'm at the end of the row, made a reduction here, so I'm coming to the end and I'll make a double crochet on top of the chain 3. Then I'll chain 3, turn my work, and I'm going to work V's all the way until I have 2 V's to go on the other side, because I need to make another reduction, and I'll show you how to do that once you're here. Okay, so I want to make a reduction here, so I'll make just this incomplete double crochet and then go and make my last double crochet, which is on top of the chain 3. So pull through 2, I have 3, then pull through all, just like that. So we made another decrease there. So we are supposed to now make our last decrease. So you chain 3 and we are going to make another decrease. So I'll go right into this first one here and make an incomplete double crochet like this, then go into the next V, then go into the next V here and make my first double crochet there, then pull through 2, pull through 3, then chain 1 and complete my V. So I'll make a double crochet in that very same chain space, and that is the end of our reduction, because we are now, this is our last row. So at this point we'll have the same number of rows as our back panel, and yeah, that will be it for this front panel. All right, so do that, finish up, and once you are done with the row, this is how it should look like. And then cut off your yarn, chain 1, then cut off your yarn, fasten up, and we are going to make exactly the same panel, our second panel. So you should have 2 identical panels for the front row, but the number of rows should be same as the back panel. Okay, so do your second one, and once you're done, then we'll join them to the back panel. So these are my 2 panels. I'm done. They are very identical with 3 rows of decrease at the top. And now we are going to join this to the back panel. So we are going to lay out our back panel like this and count. This is the top. Okay, so I want to leave 4 inches for the neckline, for the collar. Okay, but this is for size extra small, small, medium. If you're doing large, extra large, XXL and all the other sizes, please leave 5 inches. So I just measured out 4 inches with a tape measure like this and counted how many V's are in 4 inches. Okay, so how many V's are in your 4 inches? Okay, so you will leave out that number of V's. Okay, how many V's are in your 5 inches if you're doing extra large and so forth. Okay, so I will count my V's from both sides so that I leave out that number of V's or inches in the middle. Okay, so for me, I already counted this. That's why my yarn is pulled out, so I know how many V's are in my 4 inches, or So the 4 inches for me is an equivalent of 8 V's. It could be different for you depending on the number of yarn that the size of yarn that you use. We can have same inches, 4 inches, but yours could be 6 V's, could be 10 V's, depending on the yarn size. Okay, that's why I like to use measurements, because we end up with the same kind of thing even when we are using different yarn. Okay, so 4 inches for me is 8 V's. Okay, so if you're doing extra large, large, and XXL, leave 5 inches instead. Okay, so I am going to line my front panels like this, and this doesn't matter how many inches you're using, where your stitch markers are. It could be that your stitch marker is right here. Mine happens to land where it started the decrease, but that is not same for everybody. Okay, so it could be that your stitch marker is landing somewhere like here, so leave that open. Okay, we are only joining until where we have our stitch markers, and mine happens to be where my decreases start. Okay, it's not going to be the same for everybody, please note that. Okay, so we are going to join from side to where we have our stitch markers. I had someone complain that I say okay a lot, and I don't know how to stop that. I'm sorry if you're offended by me or is saying okay. It's just, yeah, I can't take that out. It's part of, yeah, it's hard to not say because it's like when I'm doing this, it's like I'm asking someone right there, like trying to teach someone right there, and yeah, it offends some people somehow, and I don't know how to get rid of it. So anyway, you are just going to rejoin your yarn, and you're going to slip stitch in every stitch. Basically just join all the way until you get to where you have your stitch marker. So okay, I will join to until where I have my stitch marker here. So I joined both of them, and now I turn to the right side. This is how it looks like. You could also use a darning needle for this, for joining, but I'm too lazy for that, so I just used slip stitches. So now we'll make the sleeves. So sleeves, we are going to be working in rounds. So let's put this away, and for the sleeves we are going to be working in rounds. So I took a tape measure, measured around my biceps, or around my biggest part of my arm, and then added 6 inches to that. Okay, so I measured around my arm. It was 10 inches around my arm, and then I added 6 inches to that. So I'll be making a chain that is equivalent to 16 inches. So you do the same. All right, so we are going to be working in rounds. I did 16 inches and I just put it in half. This is about 8 when you put it in half, because we're going to be working in rounds. But I know this will shrink about an inch or 2. So yeah. So straighten your chain, and you are going to join at the very first chain here, and then make a slip stitch. So we are going to be working in rounds, and this is going to be a little bit different on how we start and end our rounds. So this is how we are going to start our rounds. Okay, so you're going to chain 4. You will chain 4 and not 3, but we are going to be chaining 4. Okay, and this chain counts as a stitch. So in that very same chain, you're going to make a double crochet. So this is our first V. Okay, so you are going to skip 2 chains, and into the third chain make your second V. So you're going to make a double crochet, chain 1, and make your second double crochet in that very same stitch. All right, so make your third V by skipping 2, and into the third chain make a double crochet, chain 1, and make a double crochet. And you are going to repeat this until you getting to the end of the round, and I'll meet you there so I can show you how to close off this round. All right. So I'm coming to the end, and this is how it looks like. And this is not going to matter whether you have 2 chains remaining or one chain remaining, it shouldn't matter for you. All right, it's okay. So you're going to go into this space here and just slip stitch like that. Don't go inside the chain, but in that space. Then you're going to chain 4. So we are going to start off every round by chaining 4, and in that same space you're going to go in with a double crochet. So that's our first V, and now you're going to make your second V. So you will just go into that chain space in the previous V and make another V. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and you're going to continue doing that. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in that very same space, and basically that is our pattern. You'll go around and I'll meet you to show you just one last time how to close this round off. Okay, so make a V on top of a V until the end. So once you get to the end, this is how it looks like. You're going to make your last V on top of that previous V and close it off. So just go into straight into this space here and make a slip stitch and then start again. So let's see if we lost some inches here. So I started with 8 inches, and as you can see, this is about 7.25. So yeah, I lost some inches, and yeah, so you are going to chain 4 and you're going to just repeat this. So make a double crochet in that chain space and go into the next V, make another V on top of the previous one, and you're just going to repeat this until you get to the height of the sleeve that you like. Yeah, I will see you once I am done with mine. Just keep going around, okay? All right, so this is my sleeve, and let's see how long it is. This is about 6.25 inches long. Okay, so I have about 6.25 inches long, and yeah, so you can see how it fits me. You can make yours longer or shorter, depends on your preference. So we'll make 2 of these and then we attach them. So I already attached one, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So we will attach on the wrong side. So I need to flip my shirt to the wrong side, and just like this. It's going to be simple, and my sleeve is on the right side. Okay, so what we'll do is just line it like this, nicely flat. My sleeve is on the right side. I want my foundation to be the same point where I attach. Okay, so I will slip in my sleeve inside. So let me pull this back like this. So lie it nicely. This, I want it down like this. Lie it flat like that, and then put this on top. And then I will work all around the sleeve from below, all around. So I'll put a stitch marker so that I just know where I started. Okay, then work all around with slip stitches or single crochets, and then work all the way down. Okay, so I put a stitch marker so that I know where I'm starting, so that when I go around, then I know where to join. Okay, then before I go or join the all the way below. Okay, so we are going to start right here where my stitch marker is. So we'll reattach our yarn. If you're using a darning needle, that's okay. I think that's the better option, but like I said, sometimes I'm lazy because I think that takes longer and I like to do things quicker. So yeah, reattach my yarn, and you can either use single crochets for this part or slip stitches, depends on your preference, or any other joining method. Really, it's just joining, you know. This is what I use. That's just what's easier for me, but use any other joining method. I think there are better joining methods out there than what I'm doing. So it's your preference. So I'm just going to join, and I will go all the way to the top and then all the way down to where I have my stitch marker. and I'm just using slip stitches for this. So just slip stitch my way and have these two parts joined together, the sleeve and the panels. I'm currently obsessed with this stitch. I think this is my third thing to do. I have a skirt, I have a tank top, you know. So go all around, come down here, join here, and then go all the way down below. Okay, so let's do that. So I did that, went all the way around like this, and then went all the way below. Once I got here, I joined those two, and then went all the way below, and that whole side is joined. Okay, so if I pull my sleeve from under here, it should look something like this. Oh, come on. Yeah, it should look something like this. This is on the wrong side, so I'll just chain one, then cut off my yarn and tighten. All right, so let's see how it looks on the right side. This is how it looks on the right side. So you'll do the same for the other sleeve, so that you have, and the side, so that you have everything joined together, and then we'll come do the collar part. So this is what we have so far. Our panels are joined, our sleeves are joined. Now we need to do the collar, which is the easy part. Okay, so we are going to just work like this, and I want to leave a few inches from top where we joined going all the way down. So I want to leave 2 inches here. Okay, so this is for small, extra small, medium, and large. If you're doing extra large, XXL, and all the others, please leave 3 inches and not 2. So I just need to mark where those 2 inches, start, and that's where we'll start my collar. Okay, so I will reattach my yarn, and we are going to be using the same stitch, which is the V stitch. You can use any other stitch that you like here, but I wanted everything to be uniform, so I will start with rejoining my yarn and then chain 3. So once you have 3 chains, you are going to make a double crochet, and we are going to start off just like we started off with panels. So chain 1 in that same stitch, make a second double crochet, and then you're going to skip this space and just go on top of this stitch here and make a double crochet, chain 1, a double crochet. So that space we are skipping is counting as 2 stitches or 2 chains. Then we are going to go on to skip this space and then go on top of that stitch there and make another V, and do the same, skip this space, and on top of that row, on top of that stitch, then make another V. So do the same here, and once you get to the top, then you're going to make a V on top of a V, because now this is clear. Okay, so make a V on top of this V, this chain 1 space, and another V in the next, and you're going to do that all the way to this other side, then go down again like we started here. Okay, so mirror that to the other side, and then I'll meet you once you're done. Okay, so I am on the other side, and I just mirrored what I had over the other side. So once you get to the last one, then you're going to make a double crochet to end the row. I started in the middle of the stitch, the other side, and so I end my row in the middle of that stitch. So just count your stitches to make sure they are the same on every side. 4.5 for me, then 4 and then a half. Okay, so everything is equal. So now we go on row 2. So you are going to chain 3 and then turn your work and work a V-stitch on top of the previous V-stitch. So I'll go into this V-stitch here and make a V-stitch. And basically it's going to be a repeat of that. Same pattern. So go all the way to this side. So I came all the way to this side, and on top of that chain 3 I will make my last double crochet, and then chain 3, turn my work, and I'm going to repeat. So it's a V on top of this first V, and going to the next one, and repeat until you have the number of rows that you like your collar to be, to the height that you want it to be, and then we'll meet again. All right, so this is what I have: a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did 6 rows, and this is how it looks like. So now we're going to work single crochets and be able to make a place for buttons and buttonholes. So I didn't cut off my yarn, so I'm just going to start from up there, and I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to be working single crochets. So for this part of the collar, I'll start in this very stitch here and get into the space and make 2 double crochets. I mean single crochets, and then get right in this space here, and then 2 single crochets in that bigger space, then a single crochet on the top here, and then 2 single crochets in that bigger space, a single crochet on top here, and then 2 single crochets in that space. So I'm going to do that until I'm done with the collar part only. Okay, and once I get to the shirt part, it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, so this is my collar. Am I done? No, this is the last one here, and then last single crochet for the collar part. Okay, single crochets make it look a little bit neater. So now I want to go down, and this is going to be a little bit different. So what I will do is I'll go only in the spaces, the bigger spaces. So I'll go into the bigger spaces with 2 single crochets, and then go into the next bigger space, 2 single crochets. The bigger spaces are like rows, you know, if you turn them the other way. So it's 2 single crochets in every row, 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets, and basically I'm going to do this all the way until I'm at the bottom. All right, it looks like this. So I went all the way, and I'm almost at the bottom. So this is going to be my last one. And now I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and I'm going to work a row of single crochets again, but not all the way to the collar, just to the below the collar, you know, only the shirt part. Okay, so I am going to go into every stitch with 1 single crochet. So every single crochet you are going to work a single crochet. So in every stitch, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet in every stitch. So I'm going to do this, and this is how it looks like all the way until here at the bottom of the collar. So I went all the way here, Okay, this is the bottom of the collar, and you could put your buttons in here, but let's make it neat. Okay, so we are going to make buttonholes on this row. So I'm counting 8 rows, and then in the 9th row, that's where I'll make my buttonholes. Okay, 8, and then into the 9th row, that's where I make my button. So you can put your stitch marker or whatever, or you can make them shorter. Mine a bit long. I only have 3 buttons. You can also make them shorter, maybe after every, I don't know, 5th or whatever, but that is your preference. Okay, so we are going to work all the way down. So 8 stitches for me, I mean that's 16 stitches for me. So I will chain 1 and I will work 16 stitches until where I have my stitch marker. Okay, so I work 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 single crochets. Now I want to skip 2. So I will chain 1, 2. Okay, and then skip 2 stitches and then work into the 3rd stitch. Okay, like this. That looks a little bit tight, so I repeat this. So 1, 2, then skip 2 stitches, and to the 3rd one I'll make a single crochet. So that's my first one, and I'm going to work 15 more and then do my next buttonhole. And I will do that all the way down. So after every 16 I make a buttonhole. After every 16 I make a buttonhole. Okay, looks like this. So I went all the way down and I have 3 holes, and then I came back up with my single crochets until where I have my first buttonhole. Now I'll show you how we work in that buttonhole. So I went back up like this, and for this part you can work slip stitches or single crochets, depends on what you want, but I will work single crochets. So you just go into this chain space and work either slip stitches or you can work single crochets. Okay, so I will work single crochets. So since there are 2 stitches that we skipped, we are just going to repeat that and put them back. So 2 single crochets and then work single crochets all the way up to the next buttonhole, and then put 2 single crochets in that next one too. Okay, so this is how it looks, and you put 2 in here and then put 2 in here until you're back to here. Okay, so at the end I'm back to the bottom of the collar, and you just cut off your yarn. You chain 1, cut off your yarn and tighten, and we are done with that part. So now we need to work the other side so that we can have a place to put buttons, and my buttons are on the left and the collar and the buttonholes are on the right. Okay, so for the ladies, for the men it's I think the opposite. So for the other side, which is my left side when I'm wearing my shirt, since we started at going down, now we start from bottom going up so that they are matching. Okay, otherwise one will be looking inside and the other one will be looking the wrong way, and you don't want that. So now we start from the bottom going all the way up, and we are just going to use the same thing. So reattach your yarn, and you're going to work 2 single crochets in every row or in every bigger space. So 1, 2 into the next bigger space, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2. So you're going to do that all the way to where you have the bottom of your collar, and then we will switch to 3 like we were doing at the collar the other side. Okay, so all the way here. So I'm at the bottom, and now we need to switch to 3. So I will start with 1 in this little space here, and then 2 in the bigger space. then 1 at the top of this stitch in this smaller stitch here, and then 2 in the bigger space, and then 1 in the tiny space here, and then 2 in the bigger space. And I'll do that all the way until I'm done. So since we cannot go down with single crochets again, because we had only 1 row of single crochets by the collar, we will cut the yarn. Once you do the last one, you just cut the yarn, or if you can go around the collar and cut the yarn once you get to the other side, if you like to also do a single crochet like behind the collar, but that is your preference. You can do that, but if you prefer that. So cut your yarn, and that's how it looks, but we need to do more rows, right, as we go down. So what we'll do is we will reattach our yarn at the bottom. Okay, so we want to mirror what we have on the other side. So we are going to reattach our yarn here at the bottom of the collar. And we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way to the bottom. So on this side we are having buttons, on the other side it's buttonholes, so which means here we don't have to have any buttonholes. So we are just going to work 4 rows of single crochet. So go down, go up, go down until you have 4 rows, and that will be it. Then we'll come and put the buttons. Okay, here we have buttonholes, on this other side no buttonholes, because we'll put buttons. That makes sense. Okay, so for the buttons, I have these buttons as always. I don't have any other buttons, but they happen to match with this color shade, so that's good. So I will use them. So pick your favorite button size, and I am going to just sew them there. Once again, this is just my way of doing it, so you can do it any other way that you like. I'll start from below. I leave a long tail for tying, so that's hard. Like pull through. There's a knot on my needle, and it's so pull through and then go back in the other hole all the way to the other side. Basically go in and out and attach your button with best method that you can. Okay, and so once I'm done, then just tie on the other side to make the knot tighter a few times, and then cut off. And repeat with the other 2 buttons, or if you have 4, 5, I don't know how many you have, just repeat that, and I'll see you once you're done. Okay, so this is what I have, and I'm thinking it looks good, but I'm thinking I need to put a border here at the bottom, so I am going to do that. I'm going to make single crochets. If you want, you can put on the sleeves, but I will just put on the bottom. So I did this off camera, but then I realized people ask me, how did you do that? So I just went into this first stitch, reattached my yarn, and put single crochets in every stitch. And let me show you how to do that, I guess. So I'm putting single crochets in every stitch. So single crochet in this one, and since we're skipping 2 chains, I'll put 2 single crochets in that chain space, and then a single crochet in this stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the chain space, and basically that is it. I started by reattaching my yarn and doing the same. So I'll work my row of single crochets across the bottom like this, and once I'm done, I'll cut off my yarn, and that will be it. So all the way to this side, cut off my yarn, and that's it. Okay, so this is how it looks once I'm done with a single crochet at the bottom. I think it looks cleaner. I like it. So I hope you like this tutorial. And so thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, all of you. Please remember to share this video with your friends and leave a comment. And if you're excited to see the pants, so I'll be bringing them next week. So yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye guys, and so follow me on social media. It's Essie Crochets on all platforms. Bye.